Josh and I are about to interview Lucas Wyman, owner of Overkill Computers. His company builds high-end gaming PCs that cost up to $30,000. Oh, and he also gives them away for free.
Thanks to the Belkin Thunderbolt 4 dock, we were able to tie this entire PC setup together. Not only does it allow us to run multiple monitors from this laptop, but it enables us to seamlessly connect the gaming PC we're giving to you as well.
His social channels have anywhere from 35 million to 45 million views per month. Our question is, how did Lucas achieve this level of success? Let's meet him to hear his story.
And this is a big secret to how to do things. I'm actually revealing something massive right now that I've kept in my chest to a lot of time.
And find out what his crew does day to day to make this all happen.
And then I ended it with this awesome roundhouse because I was like, I want to tell you!
This is pretty much where a lot of filming gets done. It's mostly where we keep the giveaway stuff.
This is
Game
awesome,
and
man.
it's awesome.
No way.
Yeah, those are VR goggles. We use those every now and then just
Oh man, I've
mess
always
around.
wanted to try these. I've never tried. Oh my God, this is incredible. What, this is like a cave game, or is it like, it's like midnight in ancient times?
they're not on.
Oh. Well.
Lucas, I'd like to just start out and say thank you for having us today to Overkill. This is a beautiful warehouse. You have an amazing podcast room, and it's just kind of an honor to be here. Take us back a little bit to your teenage years into, I know, go way back. At that time, like back then, like where was your mind? Like were you thinking about, like, did you ever think you were going to be an entrepreneur?
There were definitely times I was hustling and doing different things to make money or whatever while still doing jobs. I always, I liked cooking at the time, like I wanted to be a chef at one point in time because I just liked to cook. It's like kind of the science side of it, like taking ingredients and melding them together and flavor combination. At a young age, I was very interested in PCs and how they worked. The first computer I had at around 10 or so was an old 5 1/4 floppy, and it didn't do much of anything. You could like get onto a word processing program, but like, I wasn't into the coding side of things, but I took it all apart. I got bored in my room, I took a screwdriver and I started going to town. I had it all apart, and my mom caught me doing it, and she was livid. She was like, your dad's gonna be mad when he gets home, and I'm like, I better get back to putting it together. Yeah. So I put it back together, it worked, and I realized I was good at like taking things apart, putting them back together, and just deconstructing things and figuring things out. It kind of just started blossoming from there. I started just digging into electronics, so as a kid, I went down that path, but I did start hanging with kind of the wrong crowd for a while. And,
a little bit of shady
oh,
crew.
yeah. So like at around 18, 19, I realized like if I stayed doing what I'm doing and hanging with the people I'm hanging with, I probably will be dead or never amount to anything.
What did you identify got you into that mindset of, I'm going to be self-destructive?
I had a very abusive father. So I tried everything I could not to be like him. I didn't want to be like him. And so when I got about to 15, I've actually been this tall since I was 13. I stopped growing at 13. So but he was a big, muscle-bound, tattoos everywhere, biker dude. And you couldn't beat him in a fight. But I got to a point where I would, try to outwit him, and I ran away from home and did a lot of different things to kind of get out of the situation. But I think getting to be 15, once he ended up leaving, so he left. My mom and dad got a divorce. Once he ended up leaving, I haven't seen him since. I haven't seen him since I was 15. When I was the man of the house, I basically just, it's sad, but I told my mom, I was like, listen, I'm man of the house now. Like, I'm going to make my own decisions. If I want to stay out, I'm going to stay out. And, wasn't a good move to make, but got me started in the mess that I ended up being in for sure. Mm-hmm. But, my mom was coming out of a 20-plus year relationship where she was going through who knows what in her head too. Yeah. And controlling me was practically impossible,
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
I wasn't the best of kid from 15 to 19 until I had hit that rock bottom point and I wanted to make a change, got to the point where I just didn't want to live like that anymore.
Well, it's interesting because you know, when you're in the Marines, obviously
Structure.
that's another bus structure,
Yes,
right?
100%.
And I assume that, you know, from day one, it's just you get that hammered over your head.
Yeah.
So that must have. So you were able to obviously thrive in that environment.
You don't really have a choice in the Marine Corps. There's a lot of hard, strong, like, leaders and guys who you don't want to mess with. I stayed in for 8 years, and you know, like this inherent desire to like hustle and be an entrepreneur, really, you know, it came to me more in like Quantico, Virginia. So I was already in for 4 years, and then, you know, maybe a year into Quantico, I had gotten back from Iraq, and I had bought the first model iPhone, right? The iPhone Edge. Remember, like the black back of the black bottom with the silver top. Yeah, you look at it now, it looks like a chiclet. I mean, it's so stupid looking. It looks like coming a Happy Meal.
Well, it's basically an iPod with a screen.
Yeah.
You know,
So like, it was a lot of money for a Marine.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't making nothing then.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
enlisted Marine, you didn't make nothing. My wife didn't work. I got married in Beaufort, South Carolina. I got married.
Okay.
Got married relatively young. Ended up, you know, having 2 kids in the Marine Corps. You know, I watched my daughter Lila, you know, be born, and it was like National Geographic, man. I just, like, I don't know, like I felt something inside me change. Like I felt this inherent need to like provide, and I honestly don't think I felt that until that happened. Like something changed inside of me where it was like, I got responsibilities, like a real life to take care of, and somebody I have to provide for, like plain and simple. So like I felt something inside me change for sure.
You got to provide, right? And you're feeling all this pressure. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people in the world right now that are in that exact scenario, and they have no idea what direction to turn, you know, and they're just like, how do you break it down and like decide? I mean, you're like, I know you like technology. I know you've got this ambition inside of you, but yeah, how do you decide?
I knew I had to hustle. I knew I had to do something. I wasn't a tech. I had started wiring stereos for some people in the Marine Corps here or there, and I didn't really like that work, and it wasn't scalable to me. You know, I wanted to find something scalable that could be built over time and kind of grow, and I didn't want to stereo shop. I got so bogged down by training. They ended up putting me as a section leader in Quantico. I was in charge of the whole airfield and the emergency operations of the Presidential Helicopter Squadron.
Oh, wow.
So it was like if you didn't do things right in that job, you'd go to the brig. It was really hard to find a hustle.
Right.
Honestly, it was. It was a lot of hours. Funny the way things work. I broke that $500 iPhone that I bought, the first iPhone, and being somebody who, you know, works and builds computers and solders and this and that the other, I was like, I cracked my screen. I start looking around for repair shops, and there's no repair shops that existed at that. So I looked on a Chinese website. Found a screen for like $15. It's a $550 phone. Shipped the screen to me. I repaired it in 20 minutes, and I went, I could charge $150, $200 for this. Like, you know, I mean, there's nobody who does it. So I started hanging up flyers all around the barracks, and next thing you know, I would get calls from Marines. Hey, we fixed my phone. We fixed my phone. We fixed my phone. Well, my higher ups, the guys who were in charge of me, and I had the section. I had my own office. But the higher ups that were watching me, once they started breaking their phones, I would repair their phones for free. So once I started repairing their phones for free, they gave me some leeway to actually repair phones in my office on side time, even though I was on shift work.
Oh, wow, nice.
That's a game-changing moment.
Yeah, worked a little hustle side deal,
Nice.
and
Wow.
those Marines are out of the service now, so they can't get in trouble. They are old, retired, you know, right?
All right, I'm here with Carter, and he is filming some B-roll for, what is this for, a product placement?
Yeah, this is so we're doing like product reviews and trying to highlight this particular GPU. And so we got it set on this turntable, we got cool lighting, and then this is a super expensive motorized slider. Wow. And look at this, it's kind of like a Game Boy or something. You just move it. And so, yeah, I mean, I've spent years kind of perfecting this skill so I can do something, you know, like really cool movements.
Yeah, really nuanced.
Yeah,
it
takes
awesome.
years actually
Oh
to
yeah,
learn
years,
how to
I'm
do
sure.
it.
Here, I'm going to show you exactly how to shoot a beautiful product. Here we
Okay,
go.
yeah, I mean it's okay.
And action. You put that on the internet, and people will buy it.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Anytime a phone would come out, I would get my hands on it as fast as possible. I would take it apart down to the very last piece, and I would figure out how it's engineered.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up getting so good at looking at different electronics. I could look at an electronic and be like, yeah, there's going to be a ribbon here, ribbon here, ribbon here. There's a trouble area there. You don't want to go in with a razor blade. We'll have to heat the perimeter of this. There'll be a hidden screw there. And then I would be the first one to actually start taking these apart and learning the repairs. And this is non-online at this time. It's all just a hustle on base to base to base. Well, of course, you relocate from Quantico, Virginia to 29 Palms, my last duty station. 29 Palms in the middle of the desert. Nobody wants to be there in the Marine Corps because it feels like you're in Iraq, but I loved it. Luckily, it was so relaxed there that I had even more time to do repair. So I'd have people come to the place I was working. I would repair at home. I had a little bit more off time there. Still shift work.
You had like a shop above your garage or something like that?
So my garage, and I had a workshop in the back of my garage in 29 Palms. I was at the base of a mountain. It was so cool.
You're always, in a lot of ways, you're always looking at the down the road.
Oh, for sure.
You're constantly investing for the short term. You're taking hits in the short term. You saw about this thing with Verizon and everybody, or your commanding officers. You could have gotten a little money out of that situation, but you knew in the long term, no, this is going to get me some freedom. So
Right.
This is a constant thing for you. This is a consistent thing that you've had.
I'm not trying to constantly use people, if that's what you're asking.
No, you're smart. Like,
I already know that you do that. but it was like caught that feeling of, okay, how can I do a long term win rather than
Whether
short?
people realize it or not, there is that's the reason why when you go to a store, if somebody's talking to you and they do a good job, they hand you a card with this discount code with a QR, please leave us a review. And if that person takes it and puts it in their pocket, and you even add something like, hey, we're in this competition, and whoever wins between stores is going to have a pizza party too. You talk about something that invokes this childhood-like feeling of, well, I love pizza parties. I want to get this guy pizza. He gave me this thing. It has an inherent value, this discount code. Like, I should leave this review for this person.
Right.
And you have their number. You can call them back within 24, 48 hours, and they're more inclined to leave a review.
Like a
Reciprocation.
combination of
Yes.
societal contract and gratitude, maybe.
Yeah.
I know.
Some people don't have it, but
Some people no,
Well,
and some people feel obligated, like they don't want to feel like a bad person.
Right,
Or not.
exactly.
I think for me, I've experienced there's a sense of gratitude. I feel grateful to this person. I want to do something nice.
Right.
Like that.
So basically what happened, repairing in the desert and trying to look into the future, right? How do I scale this? I don't want to be the guy that always does repair. I don't want to be the guy that's always sitting there for hours repairing devices. I enjoyed it. I can't handle it all. So I start hiring my EOD friends, guys who deal with bomb stuff in the Marine Corps. They were competent enough to help. I took a love to working under the microscope and figuring out how to replace like integrated circuits and like when things were really torn up and brutalized inside of a phone. Say there's oxidation and like they got salt water in their phone and the traces were removed. I would figure out how to actually remove that piece of a PCB and then jump from one part of a PCB to another. I always found that once I mastered a repair, I could always knock it out in a certain amount of time. I pushed myself to learn every type of repair I could on every model device I ever touched. I would never tell people no. It was very rare I would tell people no. Even if I didn't know how to do it, I would learn it. Well, I pushed the levels of figuring out these devices to a point that far surpassed repair shops that were popping up. And I hired EOD to come in and taught them what I knew about integrated circuit level stuff. I had them doing repair. So we would get off from the Marine Corps and lucky 29 Palms, we'd get off a little bit early. It was nice and laid back. And we would empty the P.O. box. I had a post office box, and I would just do repair till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning or something. Well, that was great, and I was doing really well. But my wife decided to go back home here for 30 days, take a vacation, take the kids to see family. And I thought to myself, I'm going to scale this and make it even bigger. I've got to go online, right? And obviously, websites were around and online business was around or whatever. I had a Marine Corps duty where I had to work 24-hour shift, and you have to stay up the whole time and answer phones and things. That happened once a month. I'm sitting there with my computer and the government computer, and I'm on, looking for domain names. And I'm looking. I had a thesaurus up with synonyms. Everything was taken. Like, it was hard finding a domain name then. That was good enough. Mm-hmm. So I type in iRepair, that's not available. Well, people like things repaired fast. iRepair fast. It was open. And I got this weird feeling. I was like, oh, iRepair fast. Lightning bolts are fast. Electricity's fast. I'm going to use a lightning bolt in the logo. I just created the logo, made the name,
the creative
purchased
process
the domain.
is like the best part.
Yes.
I love that.
I mean, it worked okay. I kind of liked it. It kind of rang well with me, so I did it.
And you're in California when you established this?
I'm in California, yep. I called my wife. She was out of town at the time. And I said, hey, I'm going to get a website designed. I bought the domain name already. I'm going to do online repair business and see what I can do. And depending on how it goes, I will get out of the Marine Corps after 8 years of being in. I launched a site, and it was 3 months later, and I hadn't gotten one order.
Yeah.
And of course, I'd had Marines call me for repairs, and I'd be like, go through the website portal.
Right.
Order the repair.
Right.
Follow the process. You know, I would force him to do it.
Yeah.
So I figured out how the website worked and how to kind of adjust things, kind of a practice period there of not getting any actual repairs from people. I was kind of annoyed. I was trying to think of the next step. I didn't have enough money to really do anything meaningful. And I sat back and looked at all these other businesses, and a lot of them were taking tens of thousands of dollars and dumping them into pay-per-click campaigns, right? So PPC, right? You take 10 grand and say, hey, I want this many people on this social platform to see my business or product or service, right?
Advertise somewhere.
And PPC then was actually a lot better then. You could dump a certain chunk of money into pay-per-click and actually get a viable return once it's adjusted. But as more people did it and everything got flooded and people get inundated with ads like they are now, PPC's become way less viable, even now, in my opinion. But I looked at people doing that, and I go, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't want to do that. It wasn't the money thing. It was just, it seemed like I'm always going to be feeding this beast all the time. I didn't want to
That's
feed.
what they want.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't want to feed Zuckerberg tens of thousands of dollars every single week. And next thing you know, I'm a big business. It's hundreds of thousands and millions. And all of a sudden, what happens? That closes down and that flow's not there. And my whole revenue platform is shut down. Like my whole stream is gone, right?
Right.
So I looked at it and I'm like, I don't want to do that. So what do? I said, now, social platforms like TikTok, Instagram, a lot of that stuff didn't exist in the way it does now. Short-form content was not a thing. The really main thing out there was YouTube. I go, you know what? I'm doing a repair. I'm just going to take my 1080p web camera. I had a Logitech webcam, something simple. Had an okay audio, and what I thought was great video at the time. I faced it down at my bench, and I recorded this methodical repair.
Before any repair, it's always a good idea to do some testing. Make sure everything else works besides the screen. Sometimes when you get a shattered screen like seen in the video, the touchscreen will not work, or the LCD may be shorted out or look like it's bleeding. From this point on, it's a good idea to only use nylon or guitar picks to remove bits and pieces. This is the extremely delicate Touch ID sensor, as well as the home button.
And I was very, very specific and particular in the way I use my tools, the way I use razor blades, the way I hold my hand and my dexterity, the way I move.
Gloves.
I always wore gloves. I even built a mock clean room in my garage. I figured out how to use HEPA filters and keep airflow across a bench top and secure myself into this clear plastic sheet. Next thing you know, I see 5,000 views, 10,000 views, 20,000. 50, 100, a million. I'm like, what? So I every time I did a repair, I didn't care what it was. I would face that camera down and I would record. I would face the camera down and I would record. I would edit. It was another layer of crap I had to do after repair.
Right.
But next thing you know, my repair channel was getting millions of views. I got accepted into this revenue program that I didn't know even existed when I started recording the YouTube videos, and I was making a couple $1,000s a month maybe on revenue program. It wasn't anything crazy, but still for me, a couple $1,000s a month in the Marine Corps is huge.
Huge.
Exactly. Right? So that grew to 50,000 probably subscribers. So within about, I'd say, maybe 2-3 months of really recording lots of devices, and millions of views started coming in. The website was, it was doing six figures of repair orders, and then a lot of repair kits. Net, I was definitely making more than I was in the Marine Corps within a few months of figuring out how to do YouTube videos. I knew I had to open brick and mortar stores if I ever wanted to franchise, which is what I was looking to do. I wanted to open like 4 or 5 stores and either sell it to a high roller that wanted to franchise it and buy me out, or I wanted to spend a couple $100,000, because it does cost a couple $100,000 to actually do the legal and the infrastructure side of franchising. Mm-hmm. So what happened, opened my first brick and mortar store here in Ponte Vedra. Very quickly, that store became very profitable. It's in a great location. It's what I like to call choke point in the military. Everybody has to kind of slow down, and they have to go around a roundabout, and I had a corner spot. So I would play games with LEDs and lights, and like I would get people's attention.
You got to have some faith, because it's not, you're putting a lot of capital down. You're opening this space, you're transforming it to the way your store needs to be. Mm-hmm. That's not cheap to do.
No, it wasn't cheap, and I actually tried to punish myself in a way on purpose because like I had some cash sitting there, but I wanted some extra capital, and my biggest unknown was, okay, I know how to do what I do, but I need people to work for me. So I hit up a couple people that I actually was in computer classes with in high school. Uh-huh. And I said, hey, like, what are you doing these days? Oh, I was working at this computer store for years, and now I'm doing XYZ. And I'm like, you want to come work with me? So I hit up a couple people, and they both said yes. And I taught them. They didn't know anything about phone level repair, so they knew a lot of computer stuff. They were really great with software and viruses and things like that. But I taught them the circuit level stuff. I tried to teach every single person I brought in circuit level and soldering, because I just wanted them to be able to really diagnose and troubleshoot and do a good job, really push the limits of repair past other repair shops. I knew that would help us stand out. Within about a year and a half, the store was super profitable. I ended up getting another car, and then I opened a second location.
Opened up. And this is Fruit Cove. You've probably seen it from a much different angle, looking at it from right here back at what my desk is. Right now, like I had said earlier, we've got a lot of computers that we're working on right now.
I wanted people to understand who the people were that worked there and develop kind of like a liking for those people and, kind of a fan following of those particular people.
All right. Hey, man, what's your name?
Silas.
Silas, Josh. Nice to meet you. What are you working on here?
This is just a build that we're just going to hang on the wall and kind of have as a nice set piece.
So it's not actually going to be a functioning computer?
Nah, it'll function, but it just won't function as much as some of the other ones.
Okay. So how long you been working here at Overkill?
About a year.
A year?
Yeah.
Okay. And in that time, has Lucas let you outside at all?
A little bit, not too often.
Yeah, he doesn't want to ruin this
creamy
alabaster skin that you have. You're clearly never going to have skin cancer. That's a good thing.
So when you go on to, the YouTube and the website and things like that, you would kind of get a feel for who the people were and what it was like there. Like, they were knowledgeable, but they were fun people too, right? Yeah. A lot of people locally in Ponte Vedra really knew who we were quickly, and it spread and spread and spread. And best word of mouth is just doing a good job for people, right? I mean, you start doing a really bad job and getting negative reviews, and you're not good at what you do, you're going to collapse like very, very quickly, especially in the repair business.
Sure.
People are very serious about these things.
Yeah.
In their computer.
So these stores, what happened to them?
That second store location was crushing, doing a really good job. The first store location was doing really, really great.
In Fruit Cove, you had started to develop something special in the back.
Yes.
Of that location.
Yes.
And I think, like, I'm just going to speak for you a little bit. You can tell me if I'm wrong.
Go for it.
You're always looking forward.
Yeah.
And forward thinking and seeing where the industry is going. And you, in this back store, you see this big opportunity with these high-end computer builds.
For sure. Just like at the first store, we started the drone thing. I was kind of playing around in that realm. Then the second store, we started building custom gaming PCs in the back. And at the time, they were just normal air-cooled gaming PCs, but they were still high-end, very high-end, top tier. And just like recording phone repair, I started recording building gaming PCs and putting it on YouTube.
Obviously, I know tons about custom gaming PCs. Not everybody does, though. So I'm thinking, How did you know there was a market for custom? Because you do custom computers too, you know.
Yes.
I didn't know there was a market for that. How did you know there was a market for that?
Well, it was basically because people were ordering custom PCs from iRepair Fast, and it was not a sexy business name. And I thought, wait a minute, if people are ordering custom gaming PCs from iRepair Fast, there's got to be a market if it's branded better. So what happened, we started building computer after computer. We were getting millions of views on YouTube on our cinematic PC builds.
We don't ever show anybody our external planning process until now. So what that means is that I am making the Cyberpunk 2077 build completely open to the public, and you'll be able to see exactly what we do.
So just kind of like I pushed the limits of the iPhones, I said, how do we go to the next level? I looked at the fact that some of the highest end gaming PCs in the world were water cooled. You run liquid through them to cool the processor, the graphics card, this, that, or the other.
Instead of air.
Yeah, instead of air.
What's the next move you're doing now? What are you
Next
about to do?
move is going to cut this tube a little bit lower so that it can fit into this.
Oh, I see. And that's going to be what, for water?
Yeah, for water to go through the CPU and into this radiator.
Now, do you use fresh water or salt water?
We were using the top of the top tier hardware you could buy on the market all the time. It was called, that's why we called it overkill computers, because everything we did, I didn't want to speak to the market of people who wanted $1,000 computer. I wanted to speak to the market of people who wanted the best of the best, because that's the kind of person I was. Right?
All right, well, listen, I've actually done this type of thing before. I used to apprentice for a plumber for 3 days. It was horrible. But I do know how to do this, so if you just get out of my way, please, so I can do this work. I'll show you exactly how we did it back in the day. And you just put this right...
So your stores kind of become your investor for your new business, right?
And there were months where, the stores were making 60,000 net a month.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was printing money at the time.
You're doing very well.
So and I thought that's how business was going to continue to be personally, which is not the truth. And that's one thing I definitely want to come out with is entrepreneurs out there that say they've succeeded and never failed, they're usually lying. Or they're just too young in the game and they've gotten lucky and they're gonna fail sooner or later. And some entrepreneurs fail and don't succeed until years in the future. And I was definitely blessed at the beginning. It was the right timing, the right niche, the right YouTube situation, the right culmination of things. God was a part of it too. I truly believe that. That made this happen the way it happened. It was about ready for the lease to expire in Fruit Cove, and I was looking at the overhead. It was a more expensive store. I was looking at what we were doing with Overkill, and I was looking at the repair industry as a whole, and it wasn't the goal of franchising. To me, was no longer something I wanted to do, nor was it something that was possible based on what I was seeing in the industry. So going back and opening another store in another location or another, getting to about 4 or 5 stores, which is really where I wanted to be for the franchise based on the research I had done. It just didn't make sense anymore. And I looked at the business as a whole and I said, I'm grateful for what it's done for me and what it taught me. It allowed me to open some other businesses that were starting to flourish and do well, and it was fine stepping back from it,
Yeah, and you're once again, you're kind of cutting edge, following the trend of where everything's going, right? I mean,
yes, gaming was really starting to pop. I mean,
gaming's been big for a long time, but
it grows.
But it grows. Yeah.
Yes, PC gaming specifically, but also Xbox, PlayStation, just the whole gaming genre. People mostly game on their phones, right? But there's money to be made there too, believe it or not. But relative to the stores and kind of backing off, I did make the decision to close the Fruit Cove location and then start this warehouse that we're at right here for Overkill.
I know a little something about cameras, all right? All right, well.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a good shot of the ceiling.
Sure you don't run out of film, this is still running. The GPUs are used in computers, so what function do they serve?
They compute.
Oh my God.
This is how we get good B-roll.
This is insane. I'm kind of freaking out a little.
Damn, this is crazy.
Yeah. That's a good shot.
Oh my God, I've never seen anything so beautiful.
I'd started another business at the time called I Drive Fast. You know, I had a race car at the time, a Camaro ZL11LE, and I was the first one in Jacksonville with one. But I was crazy enough to take a brand new car and cage it and put slicks on it and race it road course.
I got to ride in it
Yeah,
several times.
I did.
It was amazing.
Oh, we should cue that footage.
Yeah, exactly.
Me and my business partner I Drive Fast. I have a childhood friend. He's my best friend. His name's Thomas. We grew up on the same street together here, and we were always on scooters and anything that had an engine. I was on the back, and I would be spraying starter fluid in the intake. Yeah, just flying down the road, you know, like just stupid stuff. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, we kind of started chatting again. He's like, "Oh, I'm tracking my car," and I'm like, "Dude, I'm tracking my car. Let's track our cars." And next thing you know, we're like, "How do we write off our cars? How do we write off our tires? Oh, let's start a company. Let's start a company called I Drive Fast." And we started doing track events and different things. I hired drone pilots, and we had a lot of fun, and we did a lot of things. We were kind of strategic partners with this racetrack for a while. It kind of became like a marketing thing we did for them. And then every time you go to a racetrack, or at least every time we went, we'd meet other people like us who were like entrepreneur type people who had done different things in different fields. And they'd be like, "Hey, have you ever developed a website? Have you ever developed an iPhone app? Have you ever done this?" And it's like, yeah. So we'd do kind of business consulting, which was funny. What ended up happening was other businesses would call us and be like, "Hey, we heard what you did for so-and-so. Can you come up to our location, and could you bring the cars?" And so we'd roll in, and they'd all come out. Sometimes we'd give people rides, and then we'd sit in a conference room and do something with a business. It's a very expensive sport to be in.
Yeah, I bet.
And it takes a lot of time. So with me, it's like with everything going on, I have to be very laser focused on what I spend my time on. And big mistakes I've made in the past, not big, but mistakes I have made is going, okay, I see 5 different things I want to do. I'm going to do a little bit of each one of them, you know, and versus like I'm going to pick 2 and I'm going to go laser focused on these things, you know. It's
you start to like get into like these giveaways, right?
Oh yeah.
And you start to build an audience because it's not only people interested in learning about your cutting edge tech and the computers you're building and what's he going to do this month. You're also giving your audience an opportunity to like win these cool computers that you're building.
The giveaways were a strategic move based off of necessity because just like there was a decrease in the repair industry, we were churning out lots and lots of gaming PCs. Now, COVID happens. It was long wait times on stuff. There were supply constraints. There were businesses being completely shut down, and I had all the top suppliers that every computer manufacturer in the world would go to. And it was like scrapping the bottom of the barrel to try to get hardware. Even with the connection with EVGA, the profitability margins were way lower. The revenue stream was kind of getting cut off like a faucet. So I had been contacted to do a giveaway by a billion-dollar company, and they were pitching some good marketing budget at me, and I said, let's rock and roll. Let's give it a try. I'd given away something a long time ago, and I saw some great benefits of it. That was when it was I Repair Fast name. And I said, I kind of know a little thing or two about giveaways, and I've kind of studied the giveaway market because of car giveaways. Like this shirt right here is from a car giveaway, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, that was a method you used early on in I Repair Fast. You know, I'll give away my services so that Phil and Tail tell about my business to others, right?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, sorta. I mean, we're definitely not using the law. Well, I mean, I guess it is. It's not really the law of reciprocation with giveaways. It's more of with giveaways. There's a lot of people out there that want our extremely expensive gaming PCs.
It's a dream, right?
Right, and you know, we've given away computers that are $25,000. Right. You know, we've given away setups that cost crazy how expensive some of these PCs we build are, and the time and effort and months it goes into designing them. And
I am here with Vinny. He is working on this custom piece right here. Now, Vinny, I know a lot about computers.
Okay.
I mean, there's email, and the list goes on. But some people out there, they don't know anything.
Right.
So maybe you could tell me a little bit about what this looks really cool to me. What's the deal?
Yeah,
Reminds
so
me of Die Hard 3.
It's pretty sweet. It has a dual loop, so it's a different like pump on each side.
Mhm.
4090, 13900K is basically the best you can get.
Yeah, 14K.
Even a little custom screen to read out whatever you want on it.
Now, let me ask you a question, actually, because I'm reading this book. It's called The Gods Themselves by Isaac Asimov. And they, in the future, we can communicate and send objects to parallel dimensions.
Sounds pretty cool.
Can this do that?
Almost.
It's freaking amazing. They're doing amazing work here.
People these days are on their phones, scrolling on social. And is this your phone? And the way, and the,
It was.
Sorry, bro.
Now I feel like it's yours.
Yeah, what's that? No. I'm just kidding. So they scroll, and their thumb's so fast, man. And you're competing for people's attention, for sure. So like the science behind a viral video, like we have some videos that have hit 35 million views. You know, one video, 35 million views. It's crazy to think of that. How many people? I've been contacted by companies, by famous people, our DMs are insane, like with some of the people that hit us up in DMs. I can't even believe it. Movie actors, rappers, you name it, race car drivers. But nonetheless, these computers attract a lot of attention. So attention and eyeballs are obviously the currency that these billion-dollar companies want to deal with. And people want this thing. I can give them a chance for this thing. The first one we did was massive success. People lost their minds over it. The amount of social growth that the company had, the amount of views, the amount of sales they were getting.
And at that time, was this out of pocket or were you sponsored for that giveaway?
I had sponsors.
You sponsored for that one,
yeah.
okay.
So they came in and gave me a great marketing budget, gave me all the hardware. Everything was beautiful.
Yeah.
But we launched this giveaway, crushed it. Well, right at the same time, I'm seeing revenue streams dry up with computer sales, and I don't really want to be scrapping the bottom of the barrel trying to figure out how to make things happen. We're still building computers, and I had a whole Rolodex computers that had been ordered that I couldn't fulfill, that I had customers waiting on, actually.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be sitting on millions of dollars of orders, which is what was happening,
right,
and not being able to fulfill them and just sitting there
you just can't
with
get
people's
parts.
money.
Yeah,
yes.
that was the...
It's a bad feeling. It's not a place to be. And like, you want to talk about dealing with customer service, have millions of dollars sitting there, people's orders, and then wondering when their PC is going to come through and having them mad at you. That first giveaway, okay, crushed it. So I was like, let's do a second one that's our own. It crushed it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna move some things here. I'm gonna change this, I'm gonna change this and see what happens. So I started seeing exponential growth in lots of areas. And then obviously more manufacturers started hitting me up. I was like, oh, we gotta be in your giveaways. All right, send me some hardware, here's my fee. So I took my fee and I would raise it and raise it and raise it. Now, what I will tell people is this. When my channel was at 50,000 subscribers and it was called I Repair Fast and it wasn't Overkill Computers, and yes, we were getting millions of views on our cinematic videos, one day I walked into work and I said, and this is a big secret to how to do things. I'm actually revealing something massive right now that I've kept in my chest a lot of time. So I've told you about this, but I tell my closest friends. But, you know, we have a secret weapon these days. One is LinkedIn. But I can get in front of a video and I can be passionate about this thing that I'm talking about that's a project. And I can speak directly to a person that I know is on LinkedIn, that I know that I can specifically speak to and deliver the 60-second, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is the project, this is the perceived impact. I'm going to visualize it, I'm going to mock it out, I'm going to make it look sexy, I'm going to put it to music. When you watch my pitch video, you are going to want to do business with me.
Right.
You're going to want to. I'm going to tell you about it. And when they hear it, they know within the first 10 seconds whether or not they want to do business and whether or not they want to activate us. Now, I didn't know that at first, but I tried. I said, you know what? We have all these cameras around. I'm going to get in front of the camera. I'm going to tell them about something I want to do. And I'm going to send it to this billion-dollar business. Thermaltake, actually, is who it was. They've been around for years, over a decade. Way over a decade, probably 25 years. I don't know.
All the lights in my computer at home are Thermaltake.
Yeah. So Thermaltake, they're a sponsor of ours now. We just did business with Thermaltake 2 months ago. I mean, Thermaltake's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Thermaltake as a company. They make quality hardware, awesome cases. This isn't a commercial, but but I actually pitched them. I said, Thermaltake, this is Lucas with I Repair Fast. And I just went on and I told them about the project. I sent it to all their social team at the time, okay, because I wasn't really using LinkedIn as much then. I sent it to social. Within 3 hours, I got a response and said, we've never had a pitch video like that. Never had a pitch video sent. We'll send you whatever you want hardware related for your project.
Yeah.
They sent me maybe $5,000 worth of stuff in a matter of overnight shipment. And I went, oh my gosh, I think I just figured something out. So wait, I have 50,000 subscribers on YouTube and I'm getting good views, but like I can ask for things. So I was like, you know what? I was like, pitch video, pitch video, pitch video, pitch video, pitch video. I started pitching everybody. I don't care. I see somebody on a TV commercial, I'm pitching them. Like I'm pitching everybody. I don't care if I get a no.
Yeah.
So sooner or later, I had products flowing in, and I'm super stoked. I'm like, I'm getting all these products for free. I'm making all these cool builds, getting them for free, doing all these cool projects, getting these views. It's a circular ecosystem. Well, I was negotiating one product release. I forget who it was with. I wish I need to figure it out. No,
Oh.
I don't remember who it was at this time, but they were like, hey, we've got marketing budget. We got $5,000 to give you. And I said, okay, sounds good. I was like, I just got money, like, outside of the hardware. I was like, maybe the next person I negotiate with, I'll ask for some cash. Because maybe my value and now in the business has gotten to a point where they saw fit to pay us $5,000 to give us this hardware because we're making a video. What about this next $1 billion company? So the next person I talked to, I was like, yeah, so we need this and this for the project. I was talking to their marketing team. It'd be a $5,000 marketing activation. And I was like waiting and they're like, oh, no problem at all. And I'm like, I did it again. I was like, I did it again. So then, I remember doing it a few more times and I was like, you know what? We got more subscribers. Like we're doing well. We've proven ourselves a little bit. I'm going to ask for 10,000 next time. So I asked for 10 and no problem at all.
Oh, man.
But I kept chipping away and working up till I finally figured out what the ceiling was at whatever particular. See, the ceiling is sometimes there's no ceiling. There's always a ceiling, but sometimes the ceiling is so high you feel like there's no ceiling.
Yeah.
But obviously economic changes, different companies. I started getting I wouldn't say smart, but just very detailed in how I researched the companies I was contacting. I would go, okay, what was their most recent round of investment? Okay, what's their hiring curve? Like, if they're hiring and they're on a growth phase, their marketing budget's looking well, and they're pushing money to marketing, they're on a growth phase. So I'm only going to contact companies that are on this perceived growth phase. And from there, okay, where are they located? Are there any issues between where we live in the United States and this? Because I do a lot of business with Singapore, Taiwan, lots of different companies that in China even recently. So like I have lots of these companies that we're doing business with where I'm speaking with their marketing department over there in these places.
Right.
Even though sometimes they have marketing departments here and I'll speak with them over there too. And figuring out what a company releases on their quarterly marketing budgets and when they're planning their quarterly marketing budgets.
It's all timing, yeah.
Oh, it's all timing. So we have a nifty system that we built where I know I can contact these companies, big billion-dollar companies that we have established relationships with at interval time frames because I know when their budget planning happens. I ask the questions. If I'm on with marketing manager, I'll say, hey, what's your budget looking like, this quarter? What day are you guys planning? Oh, I think we're doing a meeting around here. All right, cool, sounds good. So we mine as much information as we can and we make sure that we circle back around. It's like developing a relationship with somebody. Surface level is easy, but grabbing somebody and developing a relationship with them and actually doing a good job for them, just like in the repair business.
Right.
And then once you've done a good job for them, you now have a little bit of clout with that person. You have legitimacy.
Yeah.
All right. So now from that point, what do you do to maintain the relationship? You have to communicate. Right? So we have meetings with companies. We have meetings with NVIDIA. Like we have meetings with lots of different marketing managers.
I know you do kind of campaign style now. Like you'll work with a company for, let's say, 30 days or 2 months or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Let's say a campaign's over and you move on. You've got like another lineup of clients, right?
Yeah.
Are you still going back and talking to
always
a client? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like
you're always circling around.
So when there's a different. This is all like very like I really. Some people, if they're listening and they
Trade
benefit from this, it's
secrets.
going to be awesome. But so my pitch video is one thing. If it's a new company I don't have a relationship with, I've kind of explained that process.
Yeah.
I use that strategically now on LinkedIn. If I don't personally reach out to him anymore. Actually, I have somebody, Dave. He's amazing. He's my strategic marketing manager. It actually looks a lot cooler coming from another strategic marketing manager than a CEO.
Right.
CEO's contacting a big $1 billion company. They automatically go, that's probably a small company.
Small potatoes, right?
Yeah, if the strategic marketing manager contacts, it's better. So there's another note. Once they respond, all right, you've started this conversation. We try to get them into a Zoom meeting. So that Zoom meeting, we get to know each other. All right, I want to see if I want to do business with them just as much as they want to do business with me.
Right.
Believe it or not,
Right.
especially these days.
Yeah.
I have definitely turned down things that I'm just like, after that I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Certain clients.
But we have this meeting. We see how things go. I definitely research the person I'm meeting with well. I get a kick out of how many Ivy League people I meet with, and I am a high school educated individual. I did not go back to college, so sometimes I'm meeting with people who have went to Harvard and all these places. It's crazy, but I've been in a room with 4 or 5 from different Ivy League schools across the whole spectrum of the nation.
I'm sure it feels good to be able to hold your weight, in that kind of room.
First few times, you're like, these guys are gonna know I'm a bullshitter. But no, I mean, I know my field and I know what we're doing. I'm a great bullshitter for sure. But they're very smart, and marketing managers in these big $1 billion companies, they know the game. Thinking outside the box and doing fun marketing activations and stuff is kind of what I'm about now. But maintaining that relationship, and actually after that meeting, after striking up the meeting, after getting to know each other, then you move to a next phase of I give them a project proposal. Okay, so like I'll once again do another video pitch about. It's different from my initial video pitch to get that person on with me.
Right.
After the meeting, I do another video pitch that is me
more fine-tuned.
Really, yes, very. Once I understand what they need as a company.
Right.
Because that's what business consulting is. Like you go in and sit around a table, you're with a company, and they say, well, this is our problem. This is what we want to do. This is what we think's holding us back, or we haven't tried, or we have no idea how to proceed. Right? Like there's all these things you look at, and then you develop a plan.
You figure it out, yeah.
You develop a plan on how to help them, and hence you sell them your service of consulting. It's the same thing when I'm consulting with these $1 billion companies' marketing teams. I go, okay, what products are you trying to sell in this quarter? Well, we're actually really doubling down on monitors or this. Okay. Do you have anything new coming out? Actually, we do. Can you sign an NDA? You're like, yeah, shoot it over. So I'll sign an NDA. Then they'll show me their this or that. And then I'll be like, all right, I can get behind that. That's absolutely amazing. It's like, I've got to see the product, but I'll work a deal and a proposal based off of what they're trying to promote. Now, some companies will be like, hey, not only do we want to promote this hardware public awareness, but we want to sell it here, or we want to point towards this service or this specific web page. Oh, and by the way, we really want Instagram growth. Like our Instagram's hurting. Like we need Instagram growth. We need gaming niche people. So I'll be like, all right, so I'll custom tailor a campaign.
You guys didn't like the RGB modification we did to this Phantom chair, so we decided to redeem ourselves by installing a gaming PC water cooling system on it, using these Thermaltake SWA fans and two 360 radiators. We'll start the project by 3D printing some custom brackets to hold the radiators. Then we'll bend some aluminum to support the rest of the weight. Vinny factored out it was a 15-degree bend to get it just right, and when it comes to PC modifications, Vinny doesn't make mistakes. Next is wiring up the fan controllers, and he does it in comfort. On with the second radiator, and we're connecting this to the Mora 3 from Watercool. I'd say the liquid cooling power on this thing beats about 99% of gaming PCs out there, and these fans and push-pull configuration really push some air.
Actually, it reminds me, I'm an actor. I was actually in this movie where I had to get in this fight with this guy because we were in a computer, he was trying to steal the microchips, microchips.
Yeah.
So we were getting in this fight, and he kept taking a swing, take a swing at me, no, not a real one, just watch my face. And then I was kind of I had karate skills, so I was kind of hitting him back.
Okay.
And then I ended it with this awesome roundhouse because I was like, I want to say
You know what's even crazier than this water-cooled Phantom? It's the fact that this entire gaming setup that Vinny is sitting in is being given away. An Overkill gaming PC, 49-inch ultra-wide Samsung monitor, with an AverMedia boom arm and microphone, Arctis Nova Pro headset, live streamer cam, and Nexus with SteelSeries peripherals, and a Phantom chair. Do us a favor, just like, comment, and share this with a friend, and to go get entered, head right over here.
The giveaway side of things is cool, and how we deal with the relationships and what we've learned over the years, it's cool. But now we're going to be moving on to other things too, like other marketing projects that are very exciting. Honestly, some I can't even fully talk about yet.
The focus is going to be more on marketing than on a product.
Yes. So the focus of building PCs, we'll only build a handful of PCs. Big, nasty, just huge builds.
You're doing how many builds a year?
I don't want to do more than 4 builds a month.
4 builds a month, right?
Yeah, but our last build was $27,000. You know, it was crazy expensive build. Profitability on even a $27,000 build isn't as much as you'd think. I mean, higher profitability than a car would be, but then the thing is you have to pay guys to film, or I film myself. You have to pay guys to edit. You have to, obviously not just build the build, you have to test it for days, sometimes weeks.
Right.
There's a lot of, when we do a PC build for a client now, it is so custom tailored. I meet in the same room with them, with my team, and we have a one-on-one conversation about everything they want in the PC. And we custom tailor it. But not only that, they text message us, we back and forth, little incremental micro updates of here's this.
Yeah.
It's just when you do a build with us, it's like Christmas every single few days. They're just getting little drops of information and excitement. It's something just to live for an entire 2-3 weeks, depending on how long the build takes. Could be a month, right?
Yeah.
But these big builds are also amazing for the viral video creation.
Sure.
Big projects, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So,
I mean, you got to go big in order to make it big. I mean,
so over time, to circle back to the original question, marketing. So it used to be computer builds is our revenue stream, but over time, as we've gained views, popularity, and because of COVID, I've actually shifted gears to where marketing is our revenue stream and builds are going to be down here. And I don't want to change that.
Right. Yeah.
Because I mean, we have possibilities of being on TV shows coming up here shortly. We've had production companies hit us up and pitch us to Netflix and Apple TV as kind of like a Monster Garage or like a West Coast Chopper, American Chopper would be, but in the gaming niche. So it's not just a crazy PC build, the $27,000 build. It's the person it's going to and why they're getting into the gaming niche. Because there's NFL players, NBA players, famous musicians, all trying to get into the niche.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And you've done some super cool themed computers, even just like telling us like Stranger Things.
I would have alluded to him by saying, do you harbor any resentment?
Yeah.
There's power in numbers, obviously. And our social following can be awesome to help us with certain endeavors. So what I did, I was like, you know what? I'm going to hit up Gigabyte, actually. I said, hey, guys, I got an idea. I want to build a crazy $20,000 computer. It's going to have the most beautiful art. It's going to look like a piece of the new Stranger Things series got pulled out of the series and put on the side of it. I want it to look like Vecna's popping out of the computer. And I want it to be super high-end. I'm going to build this thing. After I build it, I'm going to do a social to where everyone in the comments tags their favorite Stranger Things cast member. Mm-hmm. And this is right when the new season launched, by the way, so there's a lot of buzz. I timed
Season
it pretty
4,
well.
I think it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we go ahead and push that social out, and every platform was commenting, David Harbour, this person, that person, this person, that person. And it was just constantly flooding. So I saw some of the other cast members. I saw like 1 or 2 follow. I can't remember who it was on TikTok, but nobody responded. I was looking. And then I saw Twitter. I saw David Harbour followed. And I'm like, oh, crap. So then I get a message in my inbox on Twitter. And I look, and it's like, hey, I accept the PC. I looked, and I'm like, oh, it is his account. It's his verified account. So I messaged him back and said, hey, it is Lucas, the owner. Here's my number. If you could, when you get a chance, give me a call. Within 10 minutes, my phone rang. It was so funny answering because I had already watched the series. And I answered it in front of everybody downstairs, and we filmed it. I answered and I said, hello? And he goes, hey, Lucas, it's David Arbor. And I'm like, dude, you made our day. He posted it on his Twitter account and has pictures of him with the PC. It was cool. And that was the goal. It was
just really neat.
It was me pitching a $1 billion company. Hey, let me use social engineering to get attention of a A-list actor that
right.
does not usually get paid to promote stuff unless it's high dollar.
You've been on this massive journey, and there's been great success. There's been many challenges, and the one theme I kind of get throughout is, yeah, you had all these negative things happen throughout the years, but you actually just drop that dead weight. You kind of like, you keep moving forward and keep focusing on the next thing. You know, at this point, do you feel like you have arrived?
I definitely feel blessed. There's going to be other challenges and other things that come up. That's just life. There's times of feast and times of famine, and that's just true in anything.
Yeah.
But definitely business. That means that sometimes you're going to be doing really well for yourself in the business, and sometimes there's going to be dry points where you have to overcome them or think around problems and solve problems. And I feel like I've made it on the regard that I love what I do. I mean, I even walked in here this morning. I was the first one here. Clicked on the lights, turned on the black lights, looking at the graffiti up front. Glow-in-the-dark graffiti. It's super cool. And I walked through the space, and I looked around, and I thought, thank you, God. Like, you know, like, this is awesome. Like, it's fun to be able to come to work and be creative and enjoy what you do and have some freedom, some level of freedom. But it's also fun to be able to dream up ideas. And that's what I said I'd circle around to once this got to a point, is that my joy in this business comes from coming up with an idea. And it's not always my idea. Sometimes it's other people's ideas here. Mm-hmm. And we will hive mind together.
Yep.
And just massage this idea and form it into this shape. And then once we think we have the right shape, I launch it to cool companies. Those companies, I've had huge people I respect in the marketing industry that I can't believe I'm meeting with lose their minds on ideas. And then I lose my mind. You know, they're like, that's us, we want this. And I'm like, right. Yes. You know, like just hearing them see the idea, but then knowing that after the deals work, which is fun in working a deal, it's fun to work a deal, for sure.
Yeah.
But then after the deals worked, which is not the money side for me, it's like I just want to do cool stuff with awesome people and cool brands, and I want to impact people's lives when I can. When I can, I want to give people stuff, you know, and I want to have a fun time doing it over the next however many years we do it. And I want to leave some memorable things behind, marketing projects that may be mentioned someday. That would be cool, you know? Yeah. Some kind of little bit of a slice of a legacy there. It ain't gonna be Pepsi-Cola size, I'm sure, but it'll be a slice of something.
Yeah.
And, you know, to be able to do that, that's fun and exciting. But where it really gets exciting is you've pitched them, they've said yes, they've sent the check, that's always great. And then you start building this project. And not only do you get to build a work of art, okay, that's sometimes never been done before. I mean, we built aliens inside of PCs that move at you when you walk up to them, that have liquid flowing through their backs. Chameleon painted, they color shift. I hung it in the woods. Never been done before on multiple levels.
Call Guinness Book of World Records because we're the first to build a gaming PC that's growing an alien, and it even has glowing liquid running through its back. And I'm pretty sure we're the first to suspend an alien gaming PC in a tree. There are even sensors built into the alien, so when you walk up, it moves. But we still think one of the craziest things of all is the fact that you can win this PC in our bio.
You know, like doing stuff like that, seeing a project like that come to fruition, and then after building it, you filmed it, you get to show it creatively in post-production. Then satisfaction comes when you launch it into the world and you get to see people's reactions. And the best thanks we can get is the fact we went viral. And then the fact that the company's elated, they're over the moon that we've gotten the views, and that the project that they saw and envisioned as a good project, and we saw and envisioned and created as a project, was a success. So it's like it's so much satisfaction on so many different levels.
It's amazing.
It's definitely addictive. It's fun, you know. But I feel like it's so satisfying because people, human beings, we were designed, all right, after a creator, right? We were designed in his image. The fact is we are creators. We may not be able to create, you know, biological life from nothing, but we can create art. We can create music. We can create, you know, food. You know, there's all these different arts that are acting, like it's all an art. It's all these things that have been given to us. And I think any person you come across, if you look at them, if you really look at them and you boil it down, there's something that they love to create, you know, and it brings them satisfaction for sure. So that's why I know that I'm in the right place and where I'm meant to be, because it's fun to create, you know?
Secret effort.
It is. It's so satisfying.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice, man. That's a great tag at the end.
That is
really good.
Yeah, that was really good. Well, it was a really interesting day at Overkill. And even though Josh lowered the valuation of the company by about 20 grand, we still learned a lot, including the importance of maintaining long-term business relationships, learn from your failures, always think ahead, and be willing to adapt to changing circumstances.
One of the things that really, really impresses me about this place is the employees. They're so dedicated, they're so good at what they do. Everybody's got a job and they're 100% committed. They do amazing work. Doing great work there, Gino.
It's Vinny.
I don't think so.
Until next time, if Josh is welcome back.